And now it's time for a Sports Shuffle Baseball Blast.
Wasn't much of a blast unless you happen to be a Colorado Rockies fan. Rays lose, go down big. Rockies beat them 9-3, including a 5-run seventh. That was powered by Nolan Arenado's first Major League Grand Slam. Since yesterday was May the 4th, be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. 7th inning, it was as suddenly 1,000 remotes all cried out. And then suddenly, nothing. So, there you go for that rubber game today. Sunday, of course, always an early matinee start as the Rays and the Rockies get underway as we're trying to, still a bit of a late time, especially for a Sunday, but naturally given where they are geographically, 4:10 p.m. start time for the good guys. Also, Yolanda Escobar was injured early on, but luckily it was only a bruise, nothing broken as x-rays came up. Thankfully negative. He's going to miss max 2 to 3 days. Ryan Roberts will fill in for Escobar while that injury heals and hopefully gets back out on the field quick like. Also for Rays news down on the farm, things not going too well for Will Myers, who started out hot, but now is in a, are you ready for this? 5 for 34 slump with 15 strikeouts. In case you were wondering, and even if you weren't, Madden on his derby pick, he had, are we shocked, overanalyze, which Evan Longoria said was appropriate, who finished 11th. That's right. Yeah, so, oh well, very appropriate for our skipper. There were 2 other wild games in the major leagues where San Francisco Giants defeated the LA Dodgers. Of course, you know, fantasy baseball, Hanley Ramirez, who off the DL, now back on the DL, yeah, so still owned in 94% of Yahoo leagues, but so that's when you sort of have to wonder, do you hold on to him or do you free up the bench space? Then the beatdown of the day, as when you're trying to come on, you're pressing, you want that. There we go. That would be Detroit. This is not the Lions and the Texans, though one would think when looking at the score at first, 17-2. Yeah, do you even need to ask if it's the Astros that they played? As Miguel Cabrera, how about this fantasy-wise? 4 for 4, 2 homers, tied a career high with 6 RBIs as the Tigers set a season high in hits and runs during the, I don't think you could call it route decimation, evisceration, absolute total complete stomping. Route just doesn't do that score justice of the Astros. Detroit starter Max Scherzer recorded 16 outs in a row, and how about this? I ended up seeing that one Scott Kazmir ended up getting his first win, needing some help from Kipnis, but Jason Kipnis had a 3 for 4 day, which included a triple and a homer. Scott Kazmir got his first win since 2010 as the Tribe extended his win streak to 6. The Twins' Kevin Corella, hopefully I said it right, had his first subpar outing of the year, allowing 4 runs in 5 frames. So, but still, a 17-2. That is just absolutely, completely painful. And with that baseball out of the way, let's take just a quick look at scores from the ice last night.
You always score with a Sport Shuffle. Slapshot, 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 slapshot.
Just a quick rundown of the scores. Final in overtime, the Washington Caps and New York Rangers. Washington shutouts New York 1-0. Washington leads the series 2-0. Then Toronto-Boston going at it. Series tied 1-1 as Toronto gets the win 4-2 over the Bruins. Anaheim Ducks shut out the Detroit Red Wings 4-0. Zilch. Anaheim leads the series 2-1. And St. Louis Blues taking on the world champs. The Kings win 1-0 in another shutout of the night as St. Louis leads the series 2-1. And of course, it's time to take a look at a quick football story as we sort of wonder what happened with LeGarrette Blount when he was traded in the middle of the draft. And, he's taken just a bit of a salary cut.
Time for a football play-action pass on the Sports Shuffle.
And this from SportsTalkFlorida.com from correspondent Jenna Lane, who writes that Bucs running back LeGarrette Blount, who was traded to the New England Patriots 1 week ago in exchange for Jeff Dempson, the 7th-round pick, has agreed to take a significant pay cut with his new team. Mike Rice of ESPN Boston reports that Blount negotiated the salary to, are you ready for this? $630,000 in base pay, nearly half the $1.25 million base he was scheduled to make for Tampa Bay in 2013. Rice reports contract base was $1.2 million Tampa, but sources have told me, meaning Jenna Lane, that it was $1.25 million. Rice also reports that the new deal has a $50,000 workout bonus, and if Blount lands on injured reserve, his base pay drops to $358,000. It is unclear what other incentives, if any, are in his new contract. Under his previous deal, which he signed back in March after the Bucs began shopping him to other teams, Blount could have earned up to $1.75 million with bonuses and incentives. Oh yes, as one would say, how the mighty have fallen. And just a quick look-a-rooney to basketball scores as today's game. As for Saturday, May 4th, there's only one game. Of course, the Brooklyn Nets swept out of the playoffs. Chicago wins on to round 2 to face the Miami Heat. They beat the Brooklyn Nets 99-93. And there are only 2 games on today's TAP schedule. 1 p.m. game, Memphis at the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then the 3:30 game is Indianapolis Pacers against the New York Knickerbockers, who of course won and moved on themselves. So there we go. That's just a quick look at what's going on with sports. Here's hoping your Cinco de Mayo is festive, and always remember that if you are celebrating, please celebrate responsibly and don't drive when you drink. That's it for me for the Sports Shuffle. You're still you, and we'll talk at you next time. I'm gone.